Okay, this is in the mix number 4. In our last video, we looked at the raw mix and we established the raw mix. You can go back to that video, check it before you forgot what it looked like. But this is what my mixer now looks like. I added 2 elements to our signal, and I focused on the lead voice and I focused on the drums. I thought I was gonna get those, so I'm gonna work on those 2, get them sounding good. So I kind of mixed them again, and this time I added two different types of elements to our signal. I added an equalizer and I added a compressor. Okay, notice that here I use it the other way around: compressor, then equalizer. In the other ones it's channel, then compressor, equalizer, then compressor. Okay, it's important how you organize this, because if you choose to compress first and then equalize, it's going to be a different result than if you equalize first and then compress. And I was having trouble with this tom too, because it was giving me this frequency that I couldn't get rid of, and I realized that if I swapped the 2 around, then I can manipulate the equalizer to help me get rid of that frequency that was disrupting me when I had the other way around. The vocals, I equalized them and I compressed them. Now the point of the compressor is to basically take your signal and make it more even throughout the performance. So what it's doing, it's leaving the loud parts there, and it's kind of bringing the low parts, the low ones up, so it's kind of nice and compressed. It's a process that requires a lot of listening repeatedly and moving parameters around. The first one is the compressor threshold. It tells you where, at which frequency, at which decibel level is this compressor going to start working. Okay, so if you change that, it's going to obviously change the outcome of your sound. You need good speakers to listen to this, headphones, but not on computer speakers. You won't know the difference. And then after the threshold, you have the attack, which is basically how fast you want this effect to take place, and the release, which is how when do you want that effect to go, like the sound to go back to its original form. Then the ratio is by how much you want to cut those frequencies, and then the knee is basically telling you how hard or soft do you want this ratio to happen, how fast or how slow. Okay, hard knee hard knee is when you want it to happen really fast, and soft knee is when you want it to happen softly. And the compressor can help you change the color of the instrument, and I'm not talking about track color here, but the sort of the color of the sound of the instrument. It can really give you it's a very powerful tool in manipulating the color of the instrument that you're dealing with. So if you're doing guitars or vocals or drums, this compressor can really help you get the sound out of that instrument. Okay, so let's listen to the vocals. We're gonna solo the 3 vocal lines here, Simon singing. We're gonna listen to those vocals by themselves with the parameters there, and then we're gonna listen to it without the parameters there, and I'm gonna switch them on one at a time so you can see how the sound changes. And just focus on the levels here, and check that nothing's going to the red, everything's nice in the green and the yellow, nothing's going too high, too low. So I'll do that a little bit, and then you can watch what happens.
Keep changing, gotta keep.
So there, you couldn't probably tell much of a difference between, when I was pressing and turning on and off these parameters here. But on good speakers, you can really just hear enough of a difference for you to realize. But it's so crucial how those little changes can really cause an effect on all the mix. So it's really it's a very tricky thing to master, and I'm learning a lot doing this thing. So what I did after was the same on the drums. Now, if you noticed, I've done something on the drums, a trick that I learned, and it's this sends feature. So basically, I took all the drums, which are 6 channels, and I send a bus. So when the signal arrives here, it goes to the equalizer, the compressor, and it arrives on the bus. And by this meter here, this metering mechanism, this levels, by turning it up, that means that a signal from that particular channel is going into an auxiliary track that's receiving it here. Bus 1 is receiving the input, is receiving that signal. So what this does is it allows me to mix the drums, make the drums sound good, and at the same time, if I need a little bit more drums, just a tiny little bit of more drums in the mix, then I can control it with this auxiliary channel. It's a very useful tool. It gives the drums a little bit of extra body when you need it, and you can also kind of in the future process of the mix, I think you probably can make this move automatically wherever you want certain things to be stronger than others. And so I also added compressors and equalizers, and I mixed them a little bit. So now I have a more even drum sound. I'm gonna play you only the drum sound, and so have a listen to it. Those are the drums. So that's kind of where I am in the mix at the moment, just doing a bit of drums and a bit of vocals. The next thing that I'm gonna work on is these tracks over here, probably bass, add a equalizer and compressor to the bass and try to make it fit with everything else in the mix. So I'm pretty happy with this so far. I'm just gonna see how it progresses. Anticipating problems over the guitar lead, that was a little bit out of tune, so we're gonna see how that works. So that's why I'm also working in, if you notice how I organized the session, I added markers, so this thing at the top here, markers, so these are kind of like the different sections of the song, so I can just go and work on any particular section. Like I'm working on this thing where I call it the end jam, which is when kind of everything is at its busiest, in a way kind of starting backwards, and then you work your way out. So there's no particular order, you just kind of jump from one section to the next, check that what you do here works here, check that what you do here works this, and then does this one work with this one, so you have to mix. Okay, this is the whole idea of concept of mixing. So this is in the mix number 4, and we're gonna move on and look at other things in the mix number 5.